Hi everyone, and welcome to this special workshop that we are doing for New Year's. In this workshop, you will need either a bolster, blanket, or a cushion, something to sit on, as well as a journal and something to write with. And today we're doing intention setting. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and the difference between those, intention setting and goal setting, as well as a flow to help us release stagnant energy and open up to new beginnings. And then we'll end with a meditation to help us visualize what we want to see for ourselves within the new year. And we'll get started. Hello and welcome, yogis. Today we're going to start in our comfortable seated position while you're sitting on a cushion, bolster, blanket, whatever is comfortable for you. And we're going to gently roll the hips forward, sit nice and tall as we bring our palms face up in our lap and close our eyes. Taking some time to settle ourselves within this space, within this moment. As we inhale, breathe in through the nose, direct the breath all the way down into your belly, filling it up and out like a balloon as we expand through the lungs. And as you exhale, release both of those spaces, release the breath all the way out through the nose. Inhale fully and deeply into the belly. You can feel the breath start to rise up through the sides of the ribs, into the lungs, the back of the throat. And as you exhale, slowly release back out through the nostrils. Inhaling again into the belly, sides of the ribs, chest, back of the throat. And exhaling, allowing that exhale to be just a little longer than your inhale. And taking one more full round of breath here. Breathing into all the spaces. And taking one more round of breath here. Breathing into the spaces of the belly and the lungs. And exhaling, fully releasing back out, taking just a little longer on the exhale. We're going to move into what's called progressive muscle relaxation, helping us to release some tension before we start our journaling practice. So as you inhale, breathe in through the nose, fill those spaces back up, but also start to scrunch and tighten up the body. So ball your hands up into fists, curl your toes, scrunch up your face, create as much tension as you can. And as you exhale, release it all. Good. Inhale, start to create that tension within the body. And exhale, release it all. Even do a little shake, shaking it out. And one more time here. Inhale, create as much tension as you possibly can, each and every part of the body. And exhale, let it all go. And gently blinking the eyes open as we start to grab our journals. And before we start writing, we're going to talk about some of the differences between New Year's resolutions, goal setting, and intention setting. So with New Year's resolutions, they usually have a negative connotation to them. We think about all the things that we didn't accomplish the year before, and we almost in a way punish ourselves by saying, okay, I didn't do this last year, but I'm going to do this year. And we don't give ourselves any specifics of how we're going to do this, or we're so caught up in what we're going to do and that idea of what we're going to do that we just try to run with it without really knowing how to get there. And with goal setting is very different in the fact that we do what's called SMART goal setting, and SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, sensitive. And we take the things that we want to do, things that we want to see ourselves grow within, and we make them specific, measurable, time sensitive. We make sure that they're realistic for this year, and that way we can really see more clearly what we want to focus on. And intention setting is where we take those goals and those desires and we formulate them into one encompassing word that helps us to focus on not just one goal but multiple goals, and it gives us a little bit of flexibility in how we're going to accomplish those goals. So now that we have a little bit of an overview of all of those types of settings, we're going to journal. And within this journal, you can just open a blank page. It doesn't have to be something really specific, but I want you to start thinking about all the things that you want to manifest within your life this year. Within this new beginning, what are the things that you want to see happen for yourself? And it doesn't have to really make that much sense. You can just jot down some words, or maybe you have something really specific in mind. You can start to write that down. There is no right way to do this. So let's take a little bit of time to think about what is the energy I want to bring into this new year, and what are the things I want to see for myself? What are the things that I want to accomplish to allow myself to grow within this year? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that as I do this as well. And these are goals big and small, long-term and short-term. It's whatever is coming into your mind, whatever is flowing through your thoughts right now. Just start to write it all down. Okay, so once you've taken some time to start to brainstorm and write all of these things down, now I want you to look at the things that you wrote down and start to find common words that tie them together. So let's say that you wrote down that you want to drink more water throughout this year, or you want to train for a marathon, or you want to have more of a consistent yoga practice. All of those goals or all of those things that you want to see for yourself are related to the word health or the word wellness. And so you can put all those together by encompassing them in one word. So let's start to do that now. Okay, so now that you've done that, if you have multiple words because you have multiple categories, that's okay. But for just this exercise and for the practice that we're going to be moving into, I just want you to take one of those words and use that as your intention for our physical practice that we're going to be moving into right now. So allow your journal to just come to the side of the mat, and whatever you're sitting on, we'll remove it, and then we'll start to come up to the top of the mat to move into a yoga flow. Okay, so we're going to start our practice today by coming into Child's Pose. It's a very introspective pose. So you can bring your knees together or apart, and if your knees are apart, your big toes are going to touch. Start to bring your hips back towards your heels as you lengthen your arms out in front of you, releasing your forehead down to the mat. And as you close your eyes, take this time to really formulate that intention word in the space in between your eyebrows. And you can spell it out in big, bold letters. You can create a color around those letters. What is a color that excites you and makes you feel good about these intentions? Intentions are really nice for us because they help us to encompass multiple things into one word, multiple things that we want to accomplish into one word, giving us flexibility. So when we say our word is health, for example, and we don't make it to the gym one day, and instead of beating ourselves up over it, we can be flexible within our intention of health and say, okay, I didn't make it to the gym today, but instead I'm going to dance for 15 minutes, or I'm going to move on my mat for 20 minutes. I'm going to eat this type of food today to help me nourish my body. And so instead of being really set firmly in that specific or that ideal that we have, we can allow ourselves room to grow within that intention. And on your next inhale, lifting your head off of the mat, just coming into your tabletop position. Knees are underneath your hips and your shoulders are on top of your wrists. As we inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, and as you exhale, round through the spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen, pull the chest forward. And as you exhale and round through the spine, feel your shoulder blades broaden across the back, like they're pulling out towards your armpits. And taking 3 more cycles of breath here, connecting your breath to your movements. When you're ready, coming back into your neutral spine, we're going to tuck the left toes under, lengthen the right leg back behind you, and pull the heel back, lengthening through the back of your leg. Breathing into your hamstrings. And then taking your right foot, bringing it to the outside of your left foot, we're going to look back over our left shoulder towards our right toes, really still pulling back through your right heel. Good. And then bringing that right leg back behind you in line with the hip, we're going to bend in the knee so that your heel is coming up towards the sky. And then lengthen your left arm forwards. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your knee in towards your elbow. And open back up. Heel comes back up to the sky. Good. We'll do this 2 more times. Elbow to knee. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen back up. And exhale, round through. Inhale, lengthen back out. Left hand comes onto the ground. Taking that right foot and bringing it in between the hands as we come into a low lunge. Pulling the heart forward, hands remain on the ground as we come up onto the fingertips. And as you exhale, start to pull back with the hips as we lengthen through the front leg. Inhale, heart to toes. Exhale, chin to shin. Folding over that right leg by bringing the left hip forward to help us align the hips with each other. Inhale, pull forward into your low lunge again. And exhale, pull back as we fold. And one more time here. Inhale, pull forward, Anjaneyasana. And exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. On your next inhale, we're going to come back into our low lunge. And then from here, tuck your left toes under, lift your back knee, and bring that left foot forward to meet the right, coming into your forward fold. And you can widen your stance a little bit more here if you'd like. You can bend as much as you need to in your knees, keeping your hands on the ground, or maybe grabbing opposite elbows as you gently sway from side to side. So this practice is meant for us to really focus on our intention, but also to help release stagnant energy from the body. Things that we've been holding on to throughout the year, emotions, thoughts, tension within the body that we no longer need to bring into this new year and this new beginning. Taking some time here to release any tension from the mind, allowing it to melt out of the head and down into the ground below. Feeling the tension roll off of the body. And as you exhale, releasing the hands down towards the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. And then start to bring your hands all the way down as we pull back into our plank. Bringing the knees down first as we lower onto the belly. Release the tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, come up into your cobra. Elbows are tight to the sides and bent as you pull the chest forwards. And exhale, release down. And we'll roll back up just like a wave in the ocean. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, release back down. And again, inhale, roll up. And exhale, release back down. And from here, we're going to move into our puppy pose. So you're going to pull back like you're going to come into your child's pose, but keep your hips lifted, and then walk the hands forward as you place the forehead down onto the mat. Again, closing your eyes, coming back into your word of intention. What does this word look like in my life? What energy does this word bring to me and into my life? And on your next inhale, we'll lift the head and we'll come back into our tabletop position. Moving over to the other side, tucking the right toes and lengthening the left leg back behind us, tucking the left toes as well as we pull the heel back like we're shooting little lightning bolts through the back of the heel. And taking that left foot and crossing it over the right, we'll look past the right shoulder to the left toes. Feeling that long side body stretch. And bringing that left leg back behind us, we're going to bend in the knee, heel comes up to the sky as our right hand reaches forward. Using our core to help stabilize us here as we inhale, lengthen, and exhale, round through. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen, and then bring the right hand back down onto the mat as the left foot comes forward in between the hands, coming into your low lunge again. Pulling the chest forward, maybe even scooching that right leg back behind you a little more so that you're not pressing onto the kneecap. And as you exhale, pull back with the hips, come into your half splits. Toes point up to the sky as we lengthen gently through the leg. And moving back and forth with your breath. Inhale, come into your low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, half splits. One more time here. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, half splits. On your next inhale, come back into your low lunge. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your back knee. And then bring the right foot forward to meet the left. Come into your forward fold. This time you can take your hands and interlace them behind the back as we bring the arms up and overhead. Helping to release some tension in the shoulders. As we let go of the back of the neck, you can gently bring the head from side to side, giving yourself permission to let go of those spaces in the body that we may normally hold on to. As you exhale, releasing the hands back down towards the ground. Inhale, lift halfway, plant the hands all the way down to the mat as we bring the feet back, coming into our plank again. This time, lower all the way down onto the belly and come into Sphinx Pose. So bring your forearms down onto the mat. As you lift the chest forward, shoulders come down and away from the ears. And then think about bringing your elbows back towards your toes. So you're pulling those elbows back towards your toes, helping to open a little more through the lungs. This practice is formulated to help us open through the spaces that we normally hold a lot of tension in, and also to open through the heart space, allowing ourselves to become more open to the possibilities that this new year will bring. That this new year will bring. And as you exhale, release all the way back down to the mat. And then we're going to start to pull back into our downward facing dog from here. So starting to tuck the toes under, lift the hips, come into your down dog. You can pedal your feet back and forth. You move your hips from side to side, shake your head. Draw those shoulder blades out and away from each other so that you broaden across the back. And looking in between your hands, walking the feet all the way up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. As we exhale, hands to heart center, close the eyes. Imagine your intention and all that it encompasses. And bringing your hands down to your sides, we're going to move into sun salutations, helping us to bring in this new year, thanking the sun for rising within a new day. And as we inhale, arms rise up and overhead, palms touch, look up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. You can lower all the way down onto your belly again, or you can shift forward onto the toes so the shoulders are stacked on top of the wrists and lower into your chaturanga. Elbows and shoulders are in the same line as your rib cage. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog. If you're in up dog, you're lifting your knees off of the ground, pressing to the tops of your feet. And exhale, downward facing dog. Looking in between your hands, walking the feet back up. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Really breathe life into that intention. And then bring your hands back down to your sides. Inhale, breathe into the fingertips, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. Shift forward onto the toes, lower down. Exhale. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog. And exhale, pull back into your downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, you can step or float this time. If you're floating, bend in the knees, lift the hips high, and then float the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes, breathe in that intention. As we start to create heat within the body, we are burning off that excess energy we no longer need. Bringing new life force into the body, new prana. And as we exhale, hands come back down to the sides. One more time here. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, release into your fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Looking up, floating, or walking back up to the top. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, hands to heart center, closing the eyes. Breathe in that life energy. Filling your intention with that new life. That new energy of beginnings. And bring your hands back down to your sides. Big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. We're going to sit down into our chair pose here. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank and move through your flow. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Take your time in each section, each pose. And as you inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, bring the foot in between your hands. Spiral down your back heel so that your back heel is rooted. Inhale, rise up into your warrior one. Warrior poses help remind us of how strong we really are. And as we exhale, release the hands down, step back, and move through your flow. Inhale, left leg rises. Bring the foot in between the hands. Spiral down the back heel. We're coming back up into our warrior one on the other side. Back leg is long and strong. And as we exhale, hands release down, step back, and move through your flow. Coming back into your downward facing dog. Taking 3 rounds of breath here. And looking in between your hands, making your way back up to the top. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Big toes touch, heels are apart. We're going to sit back down into our chair. And then come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Breathe in your word. And exhale, release the hands down to the sides. One more time in our sun salutation. Be here as we sit back down into our chair pose. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. Follow the rhythm of your breath. You should exhale fully before you start to inhale and come into the next pose. Inhaling, right leg rises. Bring the foot in between the hands. Spiral down your back heel and come back up into your warrior one. I am strong. And as you exhale, release the hands down, step back, and move through your flow. Inhale, left leg rises. Bring the foot in between the hands, come back up, warrior one. In this strength, I know I can accomplish anything I set my mind to. And as you exhale, release your hands down, step back, and move through your flow. Three rounds of belly breath in your downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, step or float back up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Big toes touch, heels are apart. Sit back down into your chair. And then inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Feel how your body has already changed throughout our practice. Feel that heat starting to open up the body. And releasing your hands back down to your sides. We're going to start to move into our tree pose. So start to bend in your left knee, open the knee out to the side, and then your left foot comes onto the inside of the right, either above or below your kneecap. And you can start to grow your branches here, bring your arms up and overhead. You can also bring your hands back to heart center. Strengthening our focus so that we can strengthen our focus on our goal, something we would like to achieve within this new year. And bring your left knee forward and up into the chest. You're going to start to pull that left leg back behind you and come into a high lunge. So pull that back heel behind you like you're shooting lightning beams behind you, just like we did earlier on the floor. Deep bend in the front knee. Left hip pulls forward to meet the right. If you feel a big curve in your lower back, think about pulling your tailbone down towards the ground. Good. Inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, bring your hands back behind you. Reach the crown of your head forward like you're skiing. Inhale, arms reach back up. Exhale, bring the hands back. Reach the crown of the head forward. Firing up the core here. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, bring the hands back. Stay here with your hands back behind you and start to lift off of your left foot, coming into your warrior three pose. Reach the crown of your head forward as you pull back with your heel, finding that push-pull action, and then your core at the center. And bringing that left knee back into the chest without touching it to the ground. Right hand comes to the front of your shin. As you bring your left hand back behind you, maybe looking back. And from here, you can release that left foot down and come back into your mountain pose. Take a full round of breath here in between sides. And we'll move over to the right knee bends. Start to pull that right knee out to the side, coming into your tree pose here. Whatever variation you did on the opposite side, start to move into that now. Arms can rise up and overhead, or hands can come to heart center. And in our yoga practice on our mat, we learn that when we focus on one thing at a time, when we focus our mind into the present moment, we can train our brains to release attachment to all the other thoughts that may be circling around in the mind. And we do this through our physical asana practice, and then we take it with us off of the mat as well. Bringing that right knee forward and into the chest. And on your exhale, start to pull that right leg back, come into your high lunge. Finding any little adjustments that you need to make here. And reaching up with the fingertips, inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands back, crown of the head reaches forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale, reach up. And on exhale, bring the hands back. Keep them back behind you as you start to lift off into your warrior three airplane variation. It doesn't matter how high your back leg goes here. What we're really focusing on is trying to keep that right hip bone down towards the mat. Keeping those hips aligned as we find length and space from the crown of the head to the heel of your back foot. And then bring that right knee into the chest without touching the foot to the floor. Left hand comes onto the front of the right shin. Right arm reaches back behind you, maybe looking back. Find your steadiness. And then unwind, bring the right foot down as we come back into our mountain pose. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hand, step the left foot back behind you, and point the toes sideways. So we're going to come into our warrior two stance this time. Deep bend in the front knee as we bring our arms out into a T-shaped position. Nice wide stance here. Your ankles should be underneath your wrists. So if you need to widen your stance a little more. And flipping your right palm up, left hand comes down, reverse your warrior. Lengthening through the side body. And as you exhale, come into your extended side angle. Right forearm comes on top of the right thigh. Left fingertips reach forward. Lengthening through the opposite side. And then moving back and forth with your breath here. Inhale, come back into your reverse warrior. And exhale, extended side angle. 3 more rounds of breath here. You know where you're going. Just allow yourself to be present with your breath. And on your next inhale, come up into your reverse warrior again. This time straighten through your front leg, and then shift your hips back as you reach your right hand forward and move into your triangle pose. So your hand can come onto the inside or the outside of your right foot as your left arm reaches straight up to the sky. Feel your shoulders come in line with your hips, and bring those shoulder blades together behind you. Maybe looking up to your left fingertips. And on your next inhale, come up, face the left side of your mat. And from here, we're going to come into goddess pose. So you're going to point both of your feet out towards the short edges of your mat, and then start to bend in your knees as you release your tailbone down towards the ground. Arms are going to come into your goalpost shape, and really manifesting this energy of the goddess, knowing that we are of divine, knowing that we are of divinity, that we are made up of life force and energy that is really special. And on your next inhale, lengthen through your legs and your arms, coming into your five-pointed star. And exhale, come back into your goddess. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, five-pointed star. And on your next exhale, make your way back into your warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. Step back into your plank and move through your flow. Looking in between your hands, step or float the feet up. Inhale, lift halfway. And on your next exhale, we're going to plant the hands and step the right foot back, coming into our warrior two on the opposite side. So when you're ready, coming back up, finding the depth and the length within this pose, looking forward towards our future as we remember the past behind us. Left palm flips up, right hand comes down, reverse through your warrior. And exhale, left forearm on top of the left thigh, right fingertips reach forward. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. And on your next inhale, we'll reverse and lengthen through the front leg as we reach left hand forward and make our way into our triangle pose on the other side. Finding lots of length and space between both sides of the rib cage here. Breathing fully in and out of the belly. And on your next inhale, come up facing the right side of the mat. This time, both of our feet will point towards the right side. As our hands come onto our hips, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lead with the hips as we come into our forward fold. Hands come down onto the mat. And you can widen your stance a little bit here if you want. You can also bring your toes slightly in as your heels come slightly out. Lengthening into your flat back. And as you exhale, forward fold. And you can keep your hands exactly as they are. You can also walk your hands back in line with the heels, coming into your chaturanga arms. Or you can point the fingertips back as you lengthen through. Find your variation for your body, what you are feeling today, what you want to move into. And every time we move onto the mat, we are moving into a new beginning. Moving into a new practice, into a new body. So what do you need within this new beginning? Right now, right here. And as you inhale, start to come back with your hands underneath the shoulders. And then take your right hand and reach it up to the sky, maybe looking up towards the fingertips. And as you exhale, release the right hand down. Inhale, left arm rises up. And as you exhale, release that left hand down as well. Bringing both hands onto the hips as you inhale, we'll ride the breath all the way up to standing. Left toes point forward, moving back into our warrior two. And then cartwheel the hands down, step back, and move through your flow. And once you've reached your downward facing dog, on your inhale, we're going to pull forward into our plank. And exhale, pull back into your downward facing dog. 2 more times. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. And exhale, down dog. On your next inhale, we'll start to come all the way onto the belly. So shift forward into the plank first, and then lower down. Bringing your right arm along to the side, palm is face down. So your arm is in long line with your shoulder. And then your right cheek is going to come to the mat. Bend in your left knee. Press into your left hand and start to roll over to the right side. Our shoulders tend to be a place where we tend to store a lot of stress, a lot of tension. So taking this time to really breathe into the shoulder that we are opening up. Inhaling, coming back to center. We're going to take our left knee and bring it in line with our hips. So our left toes are going to point out to the side and then come up onto your forearms like you did in your Sphinx Pose. So we're coming into half frog pose here. So our left hip bone may be lifted off of the ground. Every time you exhale, just gently think about releasing that left hip bone down towards the mat. Our shoulders is a big place where we hold tension. Our hips are also a big place where you may hold tension. So again, just taking your time to sit with it. And this may feel a little uncomfortable. And so if you're feeling any pain, please back off of the pose. But if you're feeling discomfort, start to breathe into it. Allowing ourselves to be a little more comfortable with the discomfort is another great lesson that we can take off of our mats. And then coming up onto your hands, you're going to take your right hand and thread it behind the left and roll over to the left side so that you come into your supine twist. So your left arm's going to be long out to the side, left shoulder starts to press down towards the ground. You can take your right hand and bring it to the outside of your left leg as you move into this twist. Breathing into the spaces where you feel sensation. Bringing that new life, that new energy into those areas of the body. And as you exhale, we'll come back to center, back onto our bellies. And we'll move over to the other side. So you're going to lengthen your left arm out to the side, palm is face down. Then in your right knee, press into your right hand as you roll over to the left side. Left ear comes down onto the mat. And you can keep your right leg open like this. You can also stack your legs if that feels better for you. And taking your time to just breathe within this moment, within this opening of the shoulder. Releasing what we no longer need. Creating space within the shoulder for beautiful breath. As you exhale, come back onto the belly. This time your right knee is going to come out to the side, coming into your half frog pose on the right. So your knee is in line with your foot, with your ankle, and then your toes are pointed out to the sides. Just taking some time here, pulling the chest forward as we release through that right hip. Making space for new beginnings. Within our bodies, within our minds, so that we can create focus and clarity for the year ahead. On your next inhale, come up onto your fingers and onto your hands. And we'll take that left hand, reach it up, and start to thread it behind the right as we move into our supine twist on the other side. And you can keep your head straight, just close your eyes here, focusing on your intention again. Focusing on the various ways you can bring this intention to life. Taking this time to really feel within your body, focus within your mind, exactly what you truly want. And maybe you don't know exactly how to get there yet, and that's okay. That's what this practice is for. Maybe just starting with how you want to feel, what energy you want to bring into the world. On your next exhale, we'll come onto the belly and make our way back into our child's pose. Coming into this dark space of the mind. And not a scary dark place, but a calming dark place where we can plant seeds like soil. Those seeds of intention, those seeds of growth. In that dark place where we don't need to listen to anyone else's opinions or expectations, but really coming into this place of self-reflection where we notice what makes us happy, what brings us joy, and how we can bring more joy into this new year, just for ourselves. As you inhale, slowly lifting your head back off of the mat and grabbing your cushion, your bolster, your blanket, whatever you sat on at the beginning of practice, and making your way back into that comfortable seated position for yourself. We're going to take the last few moments of the practice to focus on a visualization meditation. You can close your eyes here as I speak, just watching the words that you hear formulate in your mind. Visualization meditation is a very powerful tool that we can use to help us move forward with our goals and our dreams. There have been numerous studies done, particularly on stroke patients, where they had a stroke because of a clotted artery. And because of this, the tissue in the arm or the leg starts to die off. There have been many studies that show that patients who use visualization meditation who have had a stroke can visualize their blood flowing into that tissue, and their tissue does not die off. And so what we can take from this is, with visualization, we are actually stimulating the same regions of the brain that we do when we complete an action. And so today, as we come into this practice, we're going to take some time to visualize our intentions. So in the space in between your eyebrows, come back to that one word that you have been using for your physical asana practice. And start to imagine how you're going to bring this word, manifest this word into your life this year. And start to imagine it in as much detail as possible. So again, you can come back to the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. How does your word encompass that acronym? How are you going to complete this goal or these intentions by using the acronym to formulate your goals? And so if your word is health, you can picture various things that come with health, right? That's what the intention is meant for. Being able to encompass various things or different ways that you can complete or accomplish. And so if your word is health, and that's the word that you can focus on every day this year, start to visualize yourself doing different things that work around that word. So if you want to have a more consistent yoga practice, using the acronym SMART, specific. So maybe you want to start to do yoga 2 times a week in the evening after work. So what does that look like? rolling out your mat in your home or at a gym and starting to move through the poses in your mind, watching yourself move through the poses. And maybe it's meditation, rolling out your mat, coming to sit on your comfortable cushion and watching yourself meditating. And if you are training for a marathon, what does that look like? Waking up in the morning before work and running for 30 minutes to start, increasing every 5 minutes every week. How many times a week are you going to do this? When is the marathon? And working your way to that endpoint. Visualizing what you're going to wear. Visualizing what it looks like when you're running. Are you outside? Are you on a treadmill? What does this intention look like as it plays out? If you notice that your thoughts are starting to drift away from your intention, acknowledge it and start to bring your focus back into what you truly want. on your next inhale, breathing fully into this intention, everything that you've watched yourself do within this visualization. And as you exhale, releasing it from the mind's focus. Bringing your hands to heart center. As this year comes to a close, remember all the wonderful things that you have accomplished within this last year. They may not have been goals that you wrote down for yourself. Maybe they were life lessons that you learned. Looking at how you've changed, how you've grown. And using that as a basis remembering how you felt when you accomplished your goals or you learned that new lesson and you grew into this person that you are now. And bringing that energy into this new year. May we all find more peace, more clarity, more hope, and more joy. Within this new beginning. Thank you for joining me in this practice. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Namaste.